morning, everyone.
Good morning, madam.
And thank you for joining us. Our trainer is in the room. That is Mrs. Kofo Ajelabi. We want to welcome you, Mrs. Kofo, this morning. How are you today?
Very well.
And how is the weather at your end?
It's raining. It's been raining since for the past 2 hours in Lagos, at least in
Wow.
the area.
Wow.
It's still drizzling now. So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Hopefully,
That's
we'll
good
have a
for
very
make the
okay.
weather cool.
Okay, great. So we're hopeful that we're going to have a very great session today. And today is the last session in the PDF Bridge Capacity Building series. Before now, we've taken 3 sessions. We started in August. Our first session was Market Entry Strategies for Non-Oil Exporters. That was the first session. And we went on, our second session was Export Documentation. The third session was Raising Finance for Export. And this last session is on Branding and Packaging for Export. We have put this together because we know that these are some of the issues that non-oil exporters still battle with. And indeed, branding and packaging is not limited to non-oil exports alone. Even in our local markets, we need to learn packaging techniques. We go on our market, our supermarkets, and we see some packages and some are already torn and leaking already on the shelf. So I believe that today's training is even beyond export itself, even for the local market. We're going to gain a lot from you. Today we have our facilitator, and her name is Kofo Ajelabi. Kofo Ajelabi has over 40 years experience in product packaging, manpower, capacity training, and development. He has facilitated organization process improvements, documentation, and attainment of various quality and environmental management systems. Mrs. Kofo has worked in multinationals and has headed quality management departments and even packaging. So you are in the right hands today. She has seen it all, she has done it all, she has trained it all, and she is the CEO of Packaging Resources Limited, if I'm correct. It's a foremost company in Nigeria that focuses on packaging resources. And so I believe that the things we're going to learn today will be very, very practical because she's been there. She's tried it, she knows it in and out, and she's an authority when it comes to packaging. And this program has been brought to you by the Trade Policy Workstream of the Policy Development Facility Program of UK Aid. Over to you, Mrs. Kofo Ajelabi. Over to you for your session. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for the invitation, the program. It's going to be a great day since we are building capacity. Once we build well, particularly on those blocks that we need, they are going to be a great thing for us to be able to move forward. Just like the name of the organizer, Sense and Connect, we are bridging a gap of knowledge. And in particular, this one is centering on branding and packaging, as introduced earlier. What are we going to do today? We are going to look at the overview of branding and packaging. In that aspect, we need to clearly state what branding is all about, what packaging is about, in terms of definition, in terms of functions, so to say. And we are going to move from there to creating awareness on the pictures you can see, which is actually depicting the content of the presentation. And in some cases, I'm going to implore the participant to watch my hand when I show packaging materials. Coincidentally, like our organizer said, packaging is a practical thing. It is not only on theory. You understand more when you can see, you understand more when you can perceive, you understand more when you can touch. So the presentation style is going to be information on the slides, as well as what we can pick with when we are demonstrating. And I want to say upfront that if you have questions, please put them on the question and answer box. I will be able to have a great day. Those questions and answers, questions will be attended to. That is, answer will be given to them after the end of the presentation. And we have allowed enough time to be able to attend to this. If we leave the overview, what next are we expecting? We're expecting what brand can give. What are the values that brand can give? We are going to state clearly the differences between branding and packaging so that when we see, they're clear. Yes, we know they are linked. They are together, but we must be able to differentiate what they are. The practical demonstration, in addition to the context of the slide, we drag this one in, and I hope the participants will be able to put down their questions again that we attend to when we finish the presentation. We're going to talk about the functions and requirements of packaging. When we have clearly stated the difference between branding and packaging, and when we must have understood what the two clearly are, then we will say what are the requirements and functions of packaging, particularly for export. And like the organizer said, that this is Ojo said earlier, why we are targeting export as our core business, COVID-19 has thrown at us opportunities that our local market can be a very vast market for us. So whatever we discuss under export, how we can sell, that we note them for our local market too. Because of that, we are going to mention packaging media, how close they are, what can they be, and possibly if you have questions around that, we'll put them in the question box again. We will mention types of packaging, and in that wise, I mean levels of packaging. All of this we discuss. Then we'll go from there to factors that influence our export business. And when I mean factors that influence, what factors in packaging can really influence export business? We're going to deal more in details in this aspect on labeling, because labeling per se, experience has shown that most export business are actually enhanced or they are thrown away through adequate or inadequate packaging. So we spend some time there. Then we find out that issue of barcode, even though it has been with us for a long time. Don't forget the world has become a village. We are existing in a global village. So what are those things that make us tick, even in global market? Barcode has been identified as one. We go further to identify how we can get a feedback and how we can adequately use this feedback with the stakeholders. I believe with this, we will be able to build our capacity in terms of whatever gap we have identified on branding and packaging. To mention how the style of the presentation, we mentioned earlier that the slides will be helpful. The pictures around the slides, they will be helpful. The pictures, the practical demonstration will be helpful. And participants will help a lot if, when we are presenting all this content, we endeavor to put our concerns, our issues down, so that when we get to packaging clinic, we don't know what we do in clinic. A clinic must be assisted by the patient itself. We don't tell the doctor what the ailments are. The doctor won't be able to diagnose well, not to talk about giving us appropriate medication to help us to get the full benefits of this presentation. Let's prepare ahead for the packaging clinic while the presentation is going on. I'm excited. I hope every participant will be. We talk about the topic, branding and packaging. And what about them? Just as introduction or definition, branding is a unique identification of a product. Branding has been recognized as a strategy that when you create a unique name or logo or symbol or color, an image of a product, what do you want to achieve? All you want to achieve is the attention of the customer. Branding focuses on identification and does differentiate the product from all other products available in the market. What does it do? Branding helps to distinguish a product from other products and create fondness and trust. And it leaves sound impression on consumers' mind, and allow them to know what to expect from that brand. Like I mentioned earlier, it is a tool, a marketing tool used by a company to spread the awareness about the product to the consumer. Let's just drive this home a little. I have a brand, and I will show a powerful brand here now. Look at, don't mind what we have here, but the name. You have Coca-Cola. That's a drink, a beverage drink. I have another one, Fanta. Again, another beverage drink. And to the most popular one, I have another one, a drink, water. And all of these, you can categorize them as a basic thing. The three of them, they belong to the same group of product, a drink. Now what differentiates them is the brand. If I take this, I know Coca-Cola. It is a beverage drink that gives me, anytime that I want to take Coca-Cola, I know it has to be a black one. I know it has to have the red color. I know the logo of Coca-Cola, and I look for that. All in the interest that I know I can't miss my Coca-Cola, and I cannot miss it out with Fanta. In a way, I'm used to that brand as what I need. When I pick Fanta, it registers in my mind that I'm taking an orange drink. Yes, the maker might have another drink that may look the color of Coca-Cola, but they don't carry the same name. They don't carry the same color. And so in a way, I have my brand separated, differentiated. Let's take another product. This time around, looking at medicine. Paracetamol is a painkiller. Panadol is a painkiller. But the two of them, they belong to two different brands. I have paracetamol that I know when I take, it relieves me of my pain. If I take Panadol, it relieves me of my pain. But there's a particular reason why I'm taking paracetamol, I'm taking Panadol. And those reasons, let us go back to our slide again. And these are the reasons that a brand must be able to put in the mind of a consumer. What is the value that I'm getting from that? So if I have a product and I've branded it, what value am I going to give to a consumer? What trust am I going to give to a consumer? What logo is it going to that is going to register in the mind of that consumer? And what is the design that people will say, this is my Vita product that is making it different from any beverage, other beverage, or any plantain chips in the market? I think that clearly tells us what brand is all about. Then if brand is what we have discussed, what is packaging? The professional way of discussing or defining packaging is a coordinated system. It's a joint system that is coordinated. When you prepare your good for, first of all, it has to, you know that you're going to transport it, you are going to distribute it, you are going to store it, you are going to sell it, and you are going to use it. That is, your consumer is going to use that product. So what does packaging aims at? It aims at promoting the product at the point at the point of transit, ensuring that that protection is there and making sure that it gets to the consumer in an awesome manner. Then when you talk about packaging, how does it come to your mind to say, I'm going to make an effective packaging? It's all about designing. When you are designing, you have in mind that this packaging must contain, it must protect it. And we have discussed about branding earlier on. And the main objectives of packaging must be your brand identification. Easily people can come to say, this is my beverage, this is my medicine. And it must be able to communicate. And that communication must be descriptive. It must be persuasive. Your packaging must ensave transportation. And within 5 seconds, people should be able to buy your product through a silent salesman. That is your packaging. The 2 points that we have clearly said about packaging, we can now put branding and packaging together so that we see the difference. Branding is a marketing strategy that makes identification of your product by your consumer possible within a tickle of an eye, so that the product you are offering is different and it's unique, and your consumer can differentiate it from the competitors. On the other hand, packaging refers to all the designing, the creating aspect of it, the wrapping of it, the product of making it available for sale and transportation. So let's now bring out the 2 key points in the differences between branding and packaging. Branding focuses on identification and differentiation. Packaging, on the other hand, paracetamol is my brand. The package is the box, the one you can see now. There's another packaging inside, which is the primary one. The one that I can see on the shelf is the one that is promoting that product, that my brand of painkilling tablet, which is paracetamol. On the same vein, talking about beverage, Bonvita is a beverage drink, while the Milo is another beverage drink that the brand is dictating that, yes, they are both cocoa drink, beverage drink, but a brand is different. Why packaging of Milo is coming in can, depicting all the information. Bonvita is coming in plastic, which is the packaging now, telling you that I want to promote this product. Yes, both of them are cocoa drink, but they must be able to defend their own stuff in terms of branding. And you can see the branding of beverage. Let's use Milo now. Whatever comes to your mind when you are choosing Milo is the green color, which is part of the branding. It is slogan of an athlete playing the football. Whereas in talking of Bonvita as a brand, you are used to a royal color, which is purple, and you are used to your chocolate color, which is brown. All these are the branding aspect of it. Now, what about the packaging? Yes, Bonvita used to be in can, then later moved to plastic, and they can be various. But the fact that the packaging is saying that I am a beverage drink that is telling that when you have vitality. That vitality is being seen on packaging. I hope with this little differentiation, you can get the meaning, the difference between branding and packaging. Why branding is helpful in retaining increasing loyalty. Like I said earlier, I know the trust I want to get out of my brand. I know the value. I know what reliability I can get from my Milo or from my Bonvita. All these are still branded. In packaging is now saying, what can you do to me to get all of this? The difference with the conversely, in contrast, packaging is helping you that your attention, the attention of your customer will be caught within a short while. Within a short while, without any problem. So basically, I want the participant to note this. Branding differentiates your product from other competitors' products in the market. Packaging, bring everything together, even your branding, to make sure that you get all you require. Let's go on. We are now going to talk about packaging labeling and requirements for export, just to drive in the point of branding and packaging as a mindset. And what are they? Again, I'm going to reemphasize the definition of packaging so that in designing your packaging and in formulating your brand or coming up with a powerful brand that will make your products sell, you have at the back of your mind that the two must go together powerfully. If packaging must transport your product, it must distribute it, it must deliver it in an awesome condition at an economic cost. You must remember that packaging is just a service function. It cannot be on its own. It cannot exist without a product. So that product must come up with a good product and with powerful brand. If we leave that, then we go to labeling. And in this session, take labeling as a statement attached to a product that enable consumer to have access to complete information on the composition. Again, when we get to the way of demonstrating it, we see it more. But just inciting, I just want to draw your attention to a packaged product here. Or talking about, let's take another product that you can see the tip top, and you see the back line. The brand name, top T, is the one you see, and the labeling is directly on the secondary packaging. You get to know what secondary is all about later. What must be the function and labeling requirement for export? If you have a good, powerful brand, and like I said earlier, packaging must be able to carry your brand to anywhere in the world. And if it's going to do that, physical protection is very, very key. And what do I mean by physical protection? That packaging that encloses your product, that will prevent it against mechanical shock, vibration, electrostatic discharge, compression, temperature, even water. Like I said earlier, it has been raining in Lagos in the part where I live. If I have a product that is not well packaged and the water actually make it soak, that's the end of that product. And that's the end of that brand. There must be a barrier protection. And what do we mean? Barrier protection is from what can come from the atmosphere. That is things like oxygen, water vapor, dust, wind sometimes. And what can cause this? There must be this barrier protection that must be able to guide against permeation. That is when you are designing, that should be in one of those considerations. The permeation of this thing should be prevented. And sometimes people do add desiccant as part of what they need. If you are dealing with food, you've got to be careful. Anything that goes into our mouth, security or safety comes first. So whatever we do, we must be careful not to tamper with the awesomeness of that product. Then we are careful about the shelf life too, which is part of the barrier protection. When you are picking your packaging material, you need to pick the one that will have absolute protection, that will not allow water or air to come into the product. Example is what I'm showing, that you have a metal that is flexible that you can use. When we get to media, we get to know this more. Here you have even some that are combination And there another one that I can show, which I will still demonstrate more when you get to media, you have that more. And I want to call our attention to our slide. Look at the right-hand side. You see a lot of flexible there that you see, we call them pouches, technically. And they're made of various media. When we go further, we understand it. Basically, what the barrier protection is saying, with your shelf life that you declare, you must be able to get it to the consumer so that you will be reliable. Don't forget what to talk about branding earlier on. Reliability, value that you can, I'm ready to deliver. Let's now move to another aspect of requirement and a function that must give us what we require. That function is what we call agglomeration or grouping or collation. Why do we have, look at this, your right-hand side, my right-hand side of the slide. You have a big box, you have small pouches in there, and you can put up, sometimes you even have up to 1,000. You can have less. What do? It makes your handling a lot safer for you. It gives you efficiency. And talking about packaging being cost effective, this is one area that one can look at. Can I group this? Can I have this together? Can they be collated? Like when you have pouches in 10s, in 20s, or in boxes. All these are saying to us, just giving us an advantage of making sure that our brand is well suited in the mind of our consumer. Our packaging is doing the right thing of protection and security. Another key requirement of any product for export, and in fact, now in Nigeria of today, I will always say to business people, exporters of food or whichever item you are exporting, be mindful of the local market. The local markets are no longer docile. If there's anything, the gains of COVID-19 will remain with the whole world for long, particularly challenging our creativity, challenging the packaging world, challenging the brand that you need to put. So your information transmission is key. It becomes imperative that you must be able to communicate effectively. Remember, you're not going to be there. Your silent salesman is your packaging. So it must be able to tell the consumer how to transport, how to recycle, which is a safety act, how to dispose of, which is sustainability function, how to use. And it must be able to give information on the manufacturing date and the expiry date. Again, a lot of information on expiry is about safety. Can I still take this food? Is it still awesome for me? Can it deliver the value that the brand has promised me when I first of all out of it? There are all this first-hand information on your packaging. The next requirement that I want us to look at is what I call marketing at a glance, a 1-second marketing. And that is what your packaging can do. An array. Now, when you are designing, are you putting in the mind of the buyer that they will be able to stand on the little shelf that your distributor will have? We know that our economy is declining now. There isn't much space to play with. We know how much a retailer will pay for a shopping mall. So the little space that he has, he wants to put as many products as possible. If my brand is going to differentiate my product from other competitors, and my packaging is going to make a lot of shouts that nobody can make, then I better look after my marketing very well. And what do I mean by that marketing? Ability to go to the store, I'll be able to simulate, use information, use IT to simulate Gone are the days that you need physical movement. Like I said earlier, a lot of opportunities are now simulation. Within sitting down on your table, you can simulate the space that your product can take. You can simulate what kind of brand you can have, because if you know the area of the industry where you play, then your marketing must be sharp, which is one of the functions and requirements for export. We talk so much about protection, about marketing, about information. What about security? Where the safety lies? Again, look at our slides. You see a product with a spout. What that spout is saying that you can't access me just anyhow. It's just like the way you put your security on your WhatsApp. You want people to invite you before you can come in. The same thing packaging can do that bit for you. Then my product must be easily accessible if I put it in a way that it is friendly, that no child can go there and tamper with it. And when they tamper, of course, there's nothing that people cannot tamper with. So we deceive ourselves when we say something is tamper-proof. In any way, in packaging, there's nothing like some tamper-proof. All you have is tamper evidence. That is, if you have gone into it, I can see it. No wonder even the beverage, you know, you have this, what you call tear off. That tear off is a kind of security. Unless I put a force and I open it. Once I open it, I can see a gap. And that's telling me that this drink is no longer safe. I shouldn't take it. So tamper evidence is becoming a feature that we are using clearly, not only as a requirement, but as a function. Again, nobody wants to do too much as to get to what he wants to eat or what he wants to use. Convenience is becoming a key and a requirement in packaging design. Let's check what we have on our slide. In the middle, you have that plastic with a handle. That handle is saying, you don't need to carry all my weight. Just take that handle. I'll do the rest for you. Just lie on that. That's packaging inviting you already. And calling, by the time you're carrying, you're not looking at, oh, which brand is this? I've not tested this before. Packaging has attracted you one, and the value of branding is now coming to 4. You can see where the two, the branding and packaging, are coming to 4. The same thing with the pouch. I have this pouch. I know the marketer might not have the retailer might not have enough space, but I already put what I call anger. That's whole. Call it anger. It's just a device for you to be able to function and say, okay, if you don't have a space for me on your shelf, you can always hang me around. And that is for marketing. And for ease of opening, you put that hole where we have a notch. For example, to open this, there's a notch here where I can just tear off. I can see me tear off because my packaging is communicating. What about this disposal? If people create litter, and people now accuse the consumer that they are the one that is creating problem for environment, the same people must solve the problem. How? Let your packaging do that for you by communicating effectively and making sure that you call the attention of the consumer. Look, this is the way to dispose. Separate this from other products. And in that wise, you're already saying, and look at clearly, there's a picture saying, please don't throw this into drain. Lagos State is shouting, Nigeria will want to be clean. Put every packaging in a waste disposal, a waste basket. Again, what is doing that for me? It makes life easy for me, if only I yield to that communication. Quickly, I'm there with packaging and branding, and we have a good understanding of what they are and a good understanding of packaging requirements. Talking about packaging, what are they? We will quickly mention those in the packaging media. There are very few, but they are very powerful. A few of them, let's go through our slides. We have paper and paperboard. We have glass. We have metal. We have flexible. We have cane. We have jute. All of these come to play. Let's see them more clearly. On my left side of the slide, You see individual Nescafe, that's the coffee, wrapped in paper. And all of us know what paper is all about. Incidentally, I brought this. This is a paper for us to see. It comes in this format when it is a roll. Then you put them on the machine, they're cut into pieces, and that's why you have, this is the base of what you have for the Nestle coffee you have there. Again, you have boxes. It's still part of paperboard. The one inside might not necessarily be paper. It can be, it can always also be another medium. But what is important is the box. Then look at the picture again. You see that box? The box of Nestle, we put the individual wrapper, which is the paper, into another box, which is a paper box. And checking out on the right-hand side, we have the plastic. The plastic that is polymeric substance. I don't want to bore you. I don't want to make my partisan chemistry student. Just know that plastic is made of polymeric material. And it could be rigid, like the Coca-Cola PET bottles, or it could be HDP that you are seeing in the picture, or the one we use for Ovaltine here. It could be polypropylene like the cap we are using. We are still going to come to cap later. Or it could be a combination of HD that is combined co-extruded with PP, with LDP, and then making a beautiful box, jewelry box for ladies. I'm sure you fancy my box, but it's just all about packaging, the way you make use of all your media. Then, like I said earlier, plastic can be rigid and can be flexible. On the right-hand side, we have a lot of flexible, and you have them in reels. And that's when you print, and then it comes to my flexible, like you see my semolina going into this, and my pando yam that's formed into a box. And it could be a combination of all of other media of packaging. Then we have aluminum. Again, aluminum could be rigid, it could be flexible. In terms of rigid aluminum, you think of your can, malt can, or it could be flexible when we have this pouch. It is an aluminum. It is an aluminum already folded. The barrier property is a lot better than the plastic. So that's another media we are talking about. Again, we have glass. All of us know glass. In fact, that's one of those ones that you can see that clearly from the picture with their bottles or the jars. And they have their merit, they have their demerit. It could be wood. When you are talking about packaging material, fanciful. Look at the palette. It's made of wood. And wood can even be what I'm holding on, like a box can carry a sweet to attract children for Sunday school or for mosque or for anywhere. These are things that brings easily packaging to farm, make excitement around it. Then it can be can. When you have can, earlier on I mentioned aluminum in can. Just an example of it that I just put on. Again, when you are talking about metal, this is an example of metal. One metal in metal, and one metal could be in plastic. But then Milo is in metal too. The kind you are seeing at the right side is metal. We have talked about rigid earlier. You can excuse ourselves there. Coincidentally, packaging is going beyond media. We are now going beyond the ordinary that you see. On the right-hand side, you see a leather pouch. People will think you only put your money only in leather. No, these days, sweets are being packed in aluminum just to make a gift item at souvenir, you are still talking about packaging, using leather as packaging item. Again, look at a beautiful cane that you see a box, trinket box on the left-hand side. Cane is becoming a beautiful thing to deal with as a packaging media now that you can use for your product. You use it to sell, you use it as souvenir, you use it as a brand that people can remember. Again, we talk about composite material. This is one. Even the composite material must not have as much protective power like a can, but it's beautiful to behold. The composite could be a combination of the paper, of the glass, they are molded. This is one. You won't believe that this is made of about 5 media. And the one you have on the picture, which is a cup, again, what's made is a composite of about 3 media. Quickly, we now mention what closures are. That is, if you don't have a good closure, you don't have packaging. That's the truth. Because the container we only carry, if the cap is not doing an effective job, there's a contaminant that goes in or permeation, the product is damaged, the product is destroyed. And good enough, we have very few media for closure. Metals like the one we said earlier, look at the crown on the slide, and they could be plastic, the caps you have, and they could be adhesive, that is ordinary starch, could even be a cap. But then it must be able to protect your product well. Before we look at how we leave the closure, earlier on when I was introducing, I said we have some levels of packaging which can be typed. Some people refer to them as types. Can I, at this juncture, still remind you to put your questions into the box so that we are not carried away with Mrs. Ajela, this packaging. That's what she has been doing for decades. And so that the packaging clinic will be effective, because we really want to share experience. That's beauty of capacity building. Let's quickly now go to packaging level. The first question that comes to mind is, when you talk about a level, you start from the lowest to the higher. When I'm presenting physically, I always ask, which school you first of all start? You tell me crèche these days. In my time, we say primary. And that's why primary is the one that packaging is starting from. And what is primary packaging? The primary packaging is that material that is in contact with the product. In this case, it is the subject. In the case of my Bonvita, it's the plastic. In the case of Milo, it is the can. When you leave primary school, where do we go to? We go to secondary school. So the one that is next in packaging, that is immediately I put this primary one into the box becomes my secondary. If this box now goes into a carton, then it becomes the tertiary. If the box now goes to a container, the container becomes quaternary. If the container now goes to like that. So, but what about this issue on levels? Why are we making so much noise about it? The most important thing is that all packaging levels play vital roles, and you must use them to avoid losses that we have discussed about in the packaging requirement for export of our local market. So the choice of it becomes very important in the packaging media that I've shared earlier. To re-emphasize this point, look at the primary level of the cocoa butter that is there. The secondary, I put it in a box. Then that box is goes into tertiary. Clearly on the screen, you can see it that demonstrates. But the point to note, whichever level you are playing, at which you are playing, be it primary, be secondary, be tertiary, be even the 4th one or the 5th one, make sure that they are all safe and they are not affecting your product, so that the brand that we are protecting jealously, that will be in the mind of the consumer, will not be affected. Pardon me if I have to give you just a second to think through, but I would like to go ahead to other ones so that we'll be able to save some time for the packaging clinic, because I'm actually eager to be at the clinic. Now that we are getting ready, putting our issues down together and gearing up that we are putting in those boxes and trying to look at how we can maximize the benefit of this training. What are those factors that influence packaging requirements for export? Precisely, let's look at them. Basically, before I talk about factors, I usually look at the underlying influences, and we will discuss those ones first. And underlying influences that we first of all mention will be the need for diversification on our economy. Is a major factor of influence. Yes, economy, God has created human beings to manage the resources that He puts on our hands and at our disposal. If we have to do that, He has given us creative mind to be able to diversify. Good enough, let's look at the second point, which is closely related to the first one. For more than 5 decades that I know now, Nigeria has relied on oil business. And we must tell ourselves the truth. This oil business is declining every day. We are living in a global village. People are getting oil. Those people that, remember America used to be a sole buyer. Look at what is happening today. Look at even those people that are very, very close to us. Look at what COVID-19 has done to business with China. That's a lesson to take on our oil business. I believe God does not make mistake by giving us a teeming population. That teeming population is a blessing as far as I'm concerned. We must provide for this teeming population. They must be employed. And so I will combine the two issues of having teeming population. No wonder with the blessing we have, other countries are really envying us. You see it every day, come to Canada. They still need more people. And our people are going. Because we have, and will continue to have. But is it not nice to actually retain the brains we train, to be able to propel our own economy, to be able to enhance our economy? We must create jobs. We need to be creative. We need to be innovative. God has made us creative animals. And that's why we need to use what God has given unto us. We need to eradicate hunger. Yes, we have a lot of resources. We have a lot of this, but this, again, poverty is facing us directly. Why? Because we're not using the opportunity we have. And again, we know that we're a great nation. And if you are, don't you think we should showcase Nigeria as, thank God today is a day to our Independence Day. We must showcase ourselves through branding and packaging. And unless we consider all these factors, we'll not be able to maximize the opportunity we have to build our capacity. Since we are capable of producing, let's show the whole world that we can do this. The factors that we need to consider, again, look at the technical and quality of the global world that we need to meet them. And then the safety procedure of this of the export market and even our home market. Who says we shouldn't be putting ourselves even as part of we are even exporting to? There must be traceability. That is, when I buy this product, will I be able to trace it to the minute point by using the information on the packaging or the labeling? All these are those things that we need to consider. And basically, let's now go to the nitty-gritty of this factor. The first thing that comes to mind in any business is the product. And that factor is still one you must guard jealously as a producer. What is the nature of this product? Remember my first requirement. Barrier protection. This thing must not deteriorate. What is the shelf life I'm giving? And that comes to the packaging media, choice of the packaging material. And if I pick the right choice, will they be available? Is this something that I should be able to see? When I know the fact of the product, what are the physical characteristics if it is food or if it is a drug, which is my background? So most of the time, I really emphasize on drug and food, because those are the areas that I am very, very conversant with. What is the size of that product? What is the shape? Is it a dry product? Is it a wet one? Do you need to maintain the freshness? Do you need to maintain the moisture content? Again, remember when we talk about the physiochemical, that is, what are those things in the atmosphere that can destroy this product? Is it oxygen? Is it light? Is it even bacteria? Is only common virus that is sending everybody in the whole world. COVID-19 is a virus. It can damage human, it can damage food. All these things we need to be careful. Sometimes the creation that we live with can be a blessing, and it can be something that can destroy if we don't take care of them. What can spoil? What are the causes of that spoilage? Then after leaving the factor of product, we go to economy. I'm not selling the packaging. I'm selling the product. The packaging cost must not be more than what the cost can absorb. Otherwise, I'll be out of business. So the packaging must be cost effective. We also mentioned right choice of packaging. One of the one we discussed earlier, but we now have to emphasize, is the convenience again. Can I open it easily? Can I close it easily? Can I dispense it? Can I dispose it? Can I reuse it so I can get more value? It's not just one time off. If I have my Bonvital jar and I now buy the flexible that I know they declare that the shelf life is only 3 months, and this one can still take 1 year. I take 10 naira from the one from the flexible. I pour it into the plastic. I'm giving me a value of reusable. And as I save me the value that I'm not going to throw into the waste basket like that, or a dustbin. All these are things that become factors when we are deciding. Then other factors could be the statutory rules, the social factor of those people that are going to consume. You have to have their mind, how they behave, the psychology of their mind, the emotional appeal. People will not go, will that be that big? Yes, it has to be big, because you are competing for money, and you need to be able to do it effectively without necessarily just being able to allow your competitor to take the show from you. Then what are those factors that will influence my selection? I've said material availability is key. It's not only the packaging material, even the product material, the raw material. You have to put them in mind. Then the cost of the product, bringing it here, the logistics and everything. All those costs must be built into the business. The target audience, are they going to be children? Are they going to be adults? Are they going to be agents, so that I know that if I'm dealing with someone who doesn't have that strength to open, I will consider it in terms of my design. What are the shelf life consideration? The shelf-life consideration, am I going to give it 3 months? Oh, if the 3 months is what I'm going to give it, and I've not been able to even finish production, is it going to be 3 years? I'm talking about a food. I'm not talking about a shoe or bag. Then I need to be mindful. How can I deliver this in terms of freshness, in terms of the appeal to even the consumer when he sees the manufacturing? When was it manufactured? Oh, this thing was manufactured 9 months ago. Can still be awesome. Is it not supposed to be made? These are factors that must be at the back of our mind. Logistics is becoming a key business now everywhere because there's no money to throw away any longer. So warehousing, transportation, distribution. Again, what is the point being all this problem or all this trouble without considering the legal requirements? And you now get there and say, oh, you have not met with this requirement. It is better to go and find out what the legal requirements are. And declaring the legal requirement is out of your packaging. You talk about that, what design can give me all those things, factors that we have discussed, that will be able to bring out the aesthetic, the stability of that material on the shelf. Even the graphic design. We always fancy what our graphic design looks like. The athlete that is playing the ball here is not only there, it's just communicating one thing to me. And the target audience is saying, if I'm going to run, let me take mine. Then we discussed a package categorization earlier on. What should be my first? What should be my primary packaging? What should be my secondary packaging? What should be my tertiary packaging? All of these come into being in factors that influence our export business. Initially, we did say that we are going to talk more on labeling and barcode. Why? Experience have shown us, all the experiences that have come back from feedback are majorly on labeling. That is, we're not labeling well to the dictates or to the satisfaction of the target audience. And so I'm going to lay much emphasis on labeling and barcode. Again, I define the labeling as the information about a product. Look at it on the slide. That when it contained, it is there on the product, here, here. It is here on Ovaltine, there, here. Even on a common top tea, you can see it. And on the picture on the slide, what does it do? It gives information. It has the value. Remember again, when I was talking about graphic design, your best friend on design is your label in terms of the structure, some aesthetic, the graphics, and all what you have. So looking at the picture on the slide, you will see that that picture is actually depicting the structural design, the color, the font size, and the product, all enhancing the value of the product. Look at another color, another product. But here, I want to let us know that basically we talk about two parts of labeling, and we call it a system. We have what we call PDP. I'm not talking about PDP party. I'm talking about principal display panel. And that is the portion that gives you the name of the product. And possibly you have to write that name in the language that the consumer will know. It gives you the content, the net content. You can see from my Ovaltine, 400 grams. Sometimes, depending on how friendly the front can be, you can have the expiry date there. Information that are key that people can easily look at. That's the first system. The second system, which is most of the time, is always at the right-hand side of the principal panel, is what we call information panel. And that's what you can see on the slide and what you can see on the container that I'm holding. And basically, they contain facts about the product, nutritional facts, how to use it, and what have you. And apart from the nutritional facts, they contain certain salient ones. Is this thing safe for me to use? You have the name and address of the manufacturer. You have it where you can trace them. So they become two. So let us now look at the two together. You see your principal display panel on the left-hand side and the formation panel at the right-hand side. And I've explained to us what they do. And so let's go further. Why are we making so much noise about this, even if we have learned a lesson from the feedback on export business? We are saying this so that we can avoid rejection from those countries that would want to take their money. We even want to do it so that we even avoid rejection in our own market. And we want to build a brand that people will always want to go there and buy, that will deliver that value, that the packaging will always attract and the consumer will have frontness. They will have memory of what they are buying. And so if you have gotten the requirement of the import country that we are taking it to, we must look at the conversant with the graphic and color they like, so that will be part of our information on the label. The language, and you can see I particularly picked this because you can see Arabic, which means apart from English, apart from French, they have other languages that makes it a little bit friendly. Can't I do that? That's why I'm attending a course like this, so that I can be a professional. What about the mode of packaging? I've been told that there are packaging media. A lot of them can even be wood. A lot of them I can make as souvenir. A lot of them I can make as attractive as I can. I need to know all of them. What is the quality requirement that the certification, like the SON, each time you will see Professor Mrs. Adeyeye on the telly preaching, NAFDAC lady, you will see the son man, Rosita. All of these are to bring everything that we need to make life easy for Nigerians, for Nigeria to be able to compete effectively in the world. And that's why you need to think globally. And you can act locally to make sure that, until when we become, is it product coming from Nigeria? Wow. After all, God has endowed us with so much blessing of the raw material and all those things that we require. But we need to learn from the regulation and the legal requirement. We need to put into our mind the safety instruction so that the physical protection will be ensured. The barrier protection that we have talked about earlier. Our brand will be such a way that we deliver the value that we have promised. The strategy that we are talking about to be able to deliver when we read the instruction. And let's look at the slides now. Look at the extreme left. We have the clamp as indicated. This is the way to pack. This is the way, and then come like that to my right hand. We see, do not stack this way. This is the way to put up. This is the end to stack. Oh, you need to keep dry. You put umbrella that you can reel it with. That is the second row now. I'm talking about, this item is perishable. You need to get like a vegetable. That's why we always put in a container that they'll be able to breathe, because they need air to still continue. Or sometimes that, this is a product that you should be kept away from it, like a butter. like even a shea butter. You don't want it to get melt. Oh, this product is fragile. Probably I've used glass container and I want it to, because I want to give it premium value. If I want to give premium value and I don't mind whatever, and I know the requirements over there, that's what they want. But I need to protect it, that's I need to label it quite well. So I haven't done well with labeling. Let's quickly go to what barcode should be. Barcode is part of my labeling. I'm afraid you can see any product today without adequate barcode. So, because I know that we all have, I will just take us to how we can do it. Is it not better to teach someone how to fish than to give the person a fish? So when after this training, you yourself can do it yourself, because all of us are going to be packaging professional after this. The information on barcode, that's why we need to know what it should be. Thank God that we now have people that are making barcode. Even your software designer, they have a lot of them now. In those days, when we started packaging at infancy in Nigeria, and we're talking about almost 2 decades now, you need to go to the UK or elsewhere before they can assign, and so no longer we don't have that. Then you must understand what you're using. You could have no figure that is representing the country, your company code, your product code, your machine, all are, and that's what this is depicting. Let's go to the next step. Apart from you must choose a right place. You must choose a right portion. For you can see, because this is big, we can, on the right hand is, you can see the one that is, you use good barcoding. You use the one, let's use the slide this time around, because deliberately I put this one. You see that the one on the left, that's the wrong barcoding, and it won't do the business of what you want to discuss about. But on the right is a good one. What are the importance and the uses of barcode? Because I'm going to use it for inventory control, it must be right. Because I'm going to use it for pricing, it must be done right. It must be able to correct error. These days, an issue of fake products are just out there, and everybody is looking for a solution. Your barcode is a solution. That's the truth. If you do it right, then I need to track my inventory, even if it is large, against privilege, against damage. And if the sales girl on the shopping mall is going to use the barcode to dispense for pricing, the speed must be high. It has to say because, and the dispensation must be a case that is being one he or she can rely on. And in terms of drug, is becoming a dispensing medication factor now. What are the types do we have? We have numeric, we have alphanumeric. Let's show some examples. The numeric will be 13 when you have the space to 13, EAN 13. We call it most of the time because we know you can only use for the big one. And when you have a smaller pack, don't worry, we cater for everybody. Look at the smaller pack here. Then we rather use what you call EAN 8. Again, this is just the IT, ICT, the GS1 people with the code. Like I said, it's no longer a big deal. It is something that once you need, you can get from GSF person, your sub-designer, all of them have given license now to do certain things. But then, please make sure you don't go to those ones that are fake. Use the correct one. Then to actually educate us, I put a lot of different barcodes here so that you can see, you can be able to relate to. Some of them are alphanumeric, some of them are just alphabet alone, some are numeric alone. Whichever one is, but most of the time in Nigeria today, we use numeric, depending on the size of your pack. Use EAN 13 when you have a big pack, when you have a lot of space to play with, and you use EAN8 when you have limited on space. I think all this with labeling and barcode, and I think we must have noted our questions down on the question and answer box so that we'll be able to have a good packaging clinic. In all of this, how can I have good branding and packaging that will make me be a good exporter? Let's look at those people that are the stake. And who are they? Farmers that are planting the product, the food scientists or the pharmacists that are making the drug or developing the product, the producer like you and I who are producing, your developer that is designing the material, and even the graphic design of even the media, what we call substrate. The moral material vendors, they are key so that when they are transporting, they don't destroy it for you. What about the packaging machinery? What about even the manufacturing machinery? These are all factors and their stakeholders. The regulatory bodies, the NAFDAC of this world, or FAO somewhere else, or BLT, depending on the country you are talking about, or the legal requirements that you need to have, Standard Organization of Nigeria, or any standard body in the country you want to export to, you must be familiar with them. What about the marketing and sales outlet? You must know their market requirements. What about the sales and marketing guru, the person that you have trained to sell this thing for you, to market it for you? The importer and the exporters, depending on which side of the coin you are now. Then the consumer, who I always regard as the king, because without them, we are not in business anyway. You can bring fantasy packaging and you can bring powerful brand. If the consumer will not pick, they are not in business. All this will give us the feedback to the seller before you can make profit. So if you are mindful of the stakeholders, if you are mindful of all, and again, I really want us to go through the stakeholders and put them in our mind as we produce. Yes, I'm a producer who sells directly or who send those things to people, my products to people, or retailer, or I pack for people to come and export or sell in premium market, or I actually directly send to a client who can. Or you bear in mind that whoever is developing for you, whoever is supplying your material, whoever is supplying your raw material, whoever are your regulatory bodies, you need to have all the knowledge to make a good case of powerful brand. And to be able to come up with book packaging, selecting from the media we have gone through, selecting from the requirements that we have said, selecting from the factors we have talked about, the barcode that we say, wow, they are more powerful brand. More powerful brand than that will surpass us. So we need to be mindful of this. I am the seller. I want to be in the market every time. And because I want to be in the market, particularly at what product market, so that I can bring in all the currency that I need to make Nigeria buoyant. I want to kill hunger by providing employment. I want to be able to create jobs for all the stakeholders too. I need one thing that is very important. That's the feedback. And that feedback is coming from who? It's coming from the consumer. There must be that outlet that the consumers are happy your target audience, we are getting information from them so that we can use that information to all the stakeholders in that chain, making us powerful. And that by the time we are doing that, we are now bringing up powerful brand so that when you have a powerful brand with good packaging, it will give consumer satisfaction. And when the consumers are satisfied, when they are satisfied, I can assure you, we are making profit. And when we make profit, all the stakeholders are happy. Ladies and gentlemen, I must thank you for this session. I will stop now to go to the question and answer session.
Okay, so thank you, Mrs. Ajelabi, for this session. Thank you so much for giving us so much in little time. And I see a couple of questions are already waiting for you. Before you go right into that, for our participants that have joined us, I want to say thank you for joining us. And I'm seeing that a couple of questions are in there. As Mrs. Kofo answers the questions, if you have, you can still post. So it's okay, because there are times when a question is asked or being answered, another question can spring up. So during this session, is more or less to call it the clinic. If you have questions that comes to mind, you can still type in, and those questions will be taken. Mrs. Ajelabi, you might want to increase your volume a bit, or maybe move a bit closer to your system, maybe, so that the voice can be more audible at this point. Over to you, ma.
Are we better now?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Sorry if you have not been able to articulate.
All right, so let's go into the Q&A now.
Mrs. Afolabi, appreciate the weight of experience. We thank you so much, madam. He wants the contact address, and I think the organizer will do that. Very informative session so far. Paper gap and craft paper packaging with inner lining is being demanded. Are there companies in Nigeria that provide that service professionally, or can it be handled by individual? Yes, a lot of paper craft companies are around, and you can get those ones if you write into the organizer. And I said this, which is very cheap way of answering question, and I mean it. What we are trying to ask the manufacturer to do is to be on net, and they're doing it each day. If you take your phone, Google craft paperback manufacturer, you can get a lot of information. When you get one or two people, if they cannot give you what they have, because they belong to the same industry, they'll be able to help. I'm very, very sure of that one. This is anonymous. How does one package dried hibiscus flower during the dry season to ensure the moisture level remains the same during the rainy? Good question. Hibiscus flower is one of those living products that we say, because it's a vegetable. And like I told you that once you want to harvest wood, you need something that is breathing. It must be perforated. My recommendation will be perforated paper board of flour. But you must get your grammage right. So you need a professional. The grammage that I'm talking about, there are also various paper there, but you need the one that is specific to your product. And when you are talking about dry season, apart from picking the appropriate packaging material, you need to be mindful of the protection. And I think this session does so much on that too. I want to also package my kuli kuli for exportation. Fantastic. We need all the money, all the dollars and all the, if you want to package kuli, like I said earlier, you need to understand your product. Kuli comes to the product of groundnut, which you have a lot of oil there. It contains a lot of fat. And so you must be able to identify packaging material that will be able to retain. You can use, what comes to mind is laminate. And laminate will be aluminum with polyethylene that will be able to do this. Again, depending on your pack size, which I don't know now, which I will know, but then you can explore the various options of laminate. That is aluminum combined with plastic, combined with plastic will be flexible. In this case, it will be not rigid. Or sometimes, depending on your market, you can use rigid plastic. But you need to find out what your market. Go through the slides again. You see all the requirements that we've listed on. How does one package, I think we are doing that. Sorry, I joined late. I want to know between the seller, buyer, and transporter, who pays for the packaging cost? Of course, it is the seller. Who pays? The seller will go and buy the packaging material because you don't have a product if you don't pack. So packaging is still part of your product cost. So, but you are going to get the money from your buyer now. So the buyer is already paying for that too. In your opinion, what percentage of cost of a product should be attributed to packaging? It is, it depends on your product, but we use a thumb rule. When your packaging is coming beyond between 25 and 30, I'm afraid. Again, it depends on your market. There are some products which are not sustainable. A product like you have a beverage drink, it could be packed in pouches where they call it 10 naira. They can be in a metal where you sell it for 100 naira. Depending on your market, depending on whether you want to make the product premium. But then, as a thumb rule, we always recommend between 25 and 30%. Can I package yarn for export? Of course, yes. You just need to find out the appropriate packaging. PDF or Power Pack series. Please give the contact of all the lecturers from the series and one to this one. I'm sure PDF will do that, and we are glad to do it. Which agencies sees about giving barcodes in Nigeria? GS1, if you go to manufacturing man house in Lagos, but even when you go to your phone, just ask for GS1. They will throw out all the information you require. GS1, or even if you don't know I want barcode, just how can I locate it? Put it as simple as that on your phone. My dear, you will get the answer. How can I pour 20 grams of shea butter for exportation? I've discussed a lot of packaging media. 20 grams appears to be a small pack. You can use, I wouldn't want to use a sledgehammer right away. Your shea butter needs to be packed in, you can use plastic material, which is flexible, but depending on your audience, that is target market, if you know the climate of the place, which you have to know before you can start business, that will dictate your choice. So we will need, giving you a straight answer, but out of the packaging media that we have discussed and requirement, easily you can find an answer when you go through them. But I can think of using flexible plastic, like I said, laminate, or even plastic rigid. Hi, madam. I'm aware that some countries have specific packaging requirements. Why doesn't allow plastic into their country? Is there a place where information can be accessed to inform exporters? Yes, you are very right. Plastic is becoming an issue now because people believe it's littering, and there's a legislation around it. And so, and that was why the previous question that I answered, you must know your target market before you choose your packaging material. Yes, one of the things you can do, if you are going to Rwanda, you must know all their requirements for the product that we bring in, that will help us. Most packaging companies require you to do a live printing run even before selling a product. You are very right, but Export Promotion Council and over years, we are developing some packaging companies now. I know of the big ones, VP will tell you they don't have a size, but then I'm doing it now. Poly products are accommodating smaller ones, and I'm trying to think of the one that a Prime Pack too, they do. Again, use your network. Google, you will see, and you will have some answer to all of these problems. How can I package ugu leaves to Europe and Dubai? Fantastic. We're doing this already. It's just the COVID-19 that has made us short. If you go to the airport, you see, but Nigeria is encouraging this. The national route and what is this body called now? Are helping, and you can use this too. Again, Google this. First of all, this is a living material. You will use perforated material that can be breathing. Thank you, Mrs. Ajelabi. I appreciate your economy for the in-depth knowledge you have shared with us. Thank you so much for appreciating me. I appreciate you too. With that participant, facilitator will enjoy it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Madam, I'm aware that I've answered this, and this is done. Thank you for this wonderful session. I appreciate you too. Please, madam, can we get a chart of export and their various packaging materials? As much as possible, this is what this session is supposed to address. But to get more help, please visit Nigerian Export Promotion Council. You can visit their site. You can get a lot of information from them. And I tell you, I'm even one of their consultants too. It's just that issues of this COVID and availability of time has been, but then you can get a lot from Export Promotion Council. How do we solve for packaging material for export? We've answered this. Well, a lot of thank you are coming in. I appreciate all of you for thanking me, and I'm glad that it's informative. Please, I would like to know the best and latest trend in packaging export smoked catfish. Catfish, I think you need to protect that, what makes it smoked catfish, and that is the odor. So use laminate that will protect that odor, that smoke, when it gets to consumer. Again, you must find out what the countries that you want to export to, what can they accept and what they cannot accept. But aluminum laminate will be fine. Thank you, Mrs. Ajelabi, for informative. Thank you, I appreciate you. Notice, if you notice, if the package has got in PP by during the peak season, the moisture level increases and more from during the, can you advise? PP polypropylene is a polymeric material, like I said earlier. If a lot of things come to play in this, it's not only the choice of your packaging material, the product you have to study. You can't go to export business without development. Development is key. So I will recommend to the person, because this question is coming up, please do proper package product development. That includes packaging, so that even when you good enough, you have an experience. One thing that I always say to people, you use a packaging material that does not work, you have an experience. That's not working. Then what are the other options that I have? Can I contact people so that I won't be wasting time and money? When you do this, you get there. Thank you. I think that is done. How do we put barcodes on our product? That's very simple. You, like I said, even your software designer now have, once you get the barcode, during when you are making your design, it will be part of the information you give to your graphic designer, and we incorporate it. So no hassle at all. As how to prevent that. What is it? Thank you, Mrs. Adelabi, for your knowledge. I thank you. It's God doing. You too, you get some knowledge after this. Oh. Thank you for this well-researched and enlightening presentation. Please leave us your contact. This is my contact. Yeah, the contact will be with PDF. You can always have that. What is the best? Oh, kindly enlighten more on shea butter packaging for export. Shea butter for export is a big one now. Can I say this? You get a lot of array of material from Export Promotion Council. I have said you can use laminate, you can use rigid plastic, you can, it depends. You must, as a matter of fact, do your development well. And you must know the environment which you are sending your product to. Shea butter being one. Shea butter is very friendly in terms of packaging. And because we now have a huge experience on shea butter now, just latch on the knowledge that is already available. Charcoal. What is the best type of packaging? Charcoal, what you need to prevent in charcoal is moisture, so that it doesn't become, so anything that we prevent, and that's as well as some people use jute. If it is local, I won't make fuss, but your jute must have something inner liner that can prevent moisture or charcoal. Is it possible to get a recorded copy of this presentation? PDF we oblige on this, and I'm sure it won't be a problem. The problem we experienced, the cost of export from air, it was declared due to the cost of export. I have an opening in UK. I know export through air is a big, even now that to travel by air is becoming a big one. Again, with COVID-19, I know. But then we wouldn't say, we have to keep on our hands on this. I think clustering, gathering together. Remember during the presentation, I mentioned agglomeration. We can gather together to have, and again, I will refer you to Export Promotion Council. They do a lot of this. But in terms of cost, they may not be able to help us. We just need to study how we can get our money on this. I do export fresh vegetable and cargo air freight service. How can I process vegetable to package? I do export of fresh vegetable and cargo air freight services. How can you get processed vegetable to package? Wow, that is the network we are talking about. Please register with Export Promotion Council, register with Food Processing and Agro Processing. Then again, go to net on this, and you can even ask PDF for information too. Just seek for this one. The information can be found. It's not too difficult. Just look for the information. Madam, thank you so much for this expository training. Can you send me this on Word document? It is the organizer that will be able to do this for you. What do we need desiccant for? Desiccant precisely is to absorb moisture. And so sometimes when you package your food in primary, secondary, and tertiary, sometimes some people put desiccant in where it will not touch the product. It's just to be able to absorb moisture. Basically, that's the word of a desiccant. As a scientist. Thank you so much. The presenter is loaded. I'm happy. Please, can I get contact of information company for smoked fish? Smoked fish. Please go to net. Again, if people are registering from food, agro process, you can get contact. Thank you so much, madam. I've learned so much. I'm glad to hear that. Please, can you enlighten me on social culture factor that influence? Oh my goodness. Oh, there are some culture. Let me look at one now. And let's really use Nigeria as an example. Thank God we are getting widened in terms of knowledge. In those days, when you see something in black, Nigeria will detest it. They will tell you it is whatever for money people. But that's wrong in packaging. The interpretation of black in packaging is a strong brand, is strength. And you can now see people are using. If now you are dealing with someone that has this bias, that I can't touch something that is black, and your product is already black, that can be a social culture. I think that's solved the problem. How can one address distribution of airtight package by customs? We have been in this for long, and that's why we are saying when you want to package for export, I believe the documentation session we did earlier on will have touched this. Please leave with those other presentation that this will be able to solve this problem. That is someone that is asking for distribution of airtight package by custom. Export, marketing, and documentation will solve that problem. Mr. Ayen Nuro is saying, what thickness of PIP is good enough barrier against moisture and air? It depends on your product. 50 micron can do, 100 micron will do, 250, but it is dictated by the nature of your product. It can even be 500. Refer the person looking for small feed to me. Thank you for that question and that information. Problem solved. 0806. I think the person is looking at this and that we have answered the question. Please, I'm experiencing audio issue today. Am I the only one, please? Is that right here? Can you hear now?
We can hear you. We can hear you. I think the person has a peculiar problem from the end.
Okay. Okay, another one. Evelyn is thanking me for the knowledge he has. The only favor you will do for me is to put that knowledge into practice so that you can get profit. So I'll be happy and be dancing that you are making profit.
That Mrs. Ajanabi, for Elwin, he has another message. If you see under that first message, there's show all. If you click show all, there's some questions there. Did you see show all?
Yes, I've shown all now. As an expert, we design how we package, label, men are seen as a full retail product for export. It is not one thing that I can take on this session, but I will just guide. What I will guide on is, first of all, you do your product development. For seed, you look at what I have said that you can affect it, because it's something that can attract moisture. So you must prevent permeation of moisture and something that oxygen can destroy. Your packaging choice out of the media, you can take aluminum laminate that will be able to prevent all of that. Again, your pack sizes will come into play. Your other packaging media will come into play. That's where the packaging development is very, very key, which I cannot address at a sitting, but the development will do that. Okay, you say yours hasn't been answered yet. What is it then?
Okay, so that's Elwin, which you have just answered. So you can click and
Okay,
that'll be gone.
Can I cancel that now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Right.
You missed my question. Many people are interested in export, but the problems are facing is the cost export from Nigeria airport. Yes, I answered that. I said the cost of, nobody can subsidize the cost of airfare. Is becoming difficult now, even with this, that the aircraft can't even take their maximum. We only need to do your development to ensure that your cost can accommodate your mode of transportation. Again, you can combine with other people. That's why I mentioned clustering. And I actually recommended that you can use Export Promotion Council, not one. You can use the exporter. And I'm sure Mrs. Ojo told us that there was some session before packaging. Those sessions will be helpful. If you have not been privileged to be part of the session, you can please ask for information from them. I think that will solve that problem. Thank you, Ma. I would like to know the best way in branding and packaging versus abaya. Do I understand this? Packaging versus abaya and gowns, etc. Could this mean clothing? Because I saw gowns there. Yes.
Yes.
If they are clothing, when you want to brand, maybe because you think it is not food, it cannot be branded. Every product can be branded. Again, let's go to the basic of branding means. Your name, the name you want to give to that product. The fact that I'm wearing cotton, I can say Kofo, whatever it is, and I'm going to brand it. But that thing must be able, that name I'm giving to it, people must be able to relate to it. Then it must have the color that people know with me, the logo that they'll be able to identify with me, and it must have other image, things that can be, just go to basic things of branding. And you discuss this with a designer. It's like you yourself can brand yourself. My company is Packaging Resources. And what we always do through a brand is you must be able to get all the resources you need for packaging in that company. It's a brand. And you can do the same. I want to export grains. Can I contact your company form? You can do through PDF. For the fellow for vegetable export, please call this line. If you want to package for export, vegetable for export, please see the phone number. See the phone number on the screen, and please attend to that. Ma, I suggest the best packaging material for abacha. Thank you. Suggest packaging material for abacha.
Abacha is food.
Vegetable food.
Yes.
Now I understand that it's a vegetable food.
Yes.
Once it is vegetable, First of all, what the shelf life is it to be consumed locally? If it is to be consumed locally, you can use your laminate. If plastic is the one you are running away from, use laminate like aluminum foil. If you are running for bottles, and that will be nice for abacha.
All right.
Please,
Okay, so you have read, yes, you've read that last question.
from here.
Okay, and Mrs. Kopo, there are two people that raised their hands, and I think Benedicta Ogbeche. Before we go back to the questions, Benedicta, are you there? Benedicta, Benedicta Ogbeche. Okay, so can the host mute Benedicta? Abioyo Olufemi, are you there?
Hello.
Okay, Abioyo.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can we have your question, Mr. Abioyo Olufemi?
No, I didn't ask any question. No.
Your hands were raised. That's why we called you. So that's fine. Your hands were raised. That's why we called you. All right, Mrs. So can you please look again? There are a few more questions.
Yes, there is one that is interesting. Please, how can I package clothes for export using primary, secondary, and tertiary to distribute my product? Please, I asked this question some time ago, but I did not hear your response. Okay. If you are packaging clothes, the first thing that comes to your mind, your primary packaging can be even clothes. That is bag. Those you sew your bag, big bag from clothes that you'll be able to contain, depending on your pack size. But you have to determine your pack size first of all. Then you need to know your secondary packaging. Now, if it is bag, you want to pack into, you can use plastic big container, or you can use paperboard, depending on what quantity you want to pack. The pack size will be determined by you, because it is you that know how you are going to sell. And so all those things will be done when you are doing your packaging, when you are doing your product development, product and packaging development. So in this case, if I use cloth as my primary, and I now use board as secondary, I place the board in a carton. Then my tertiary will then be, it can be a container, a big container. It can even still be a big carton. But this, in that case, it will be high grade, what we call industrial carton. That it could be as many plies as possible. Well, and I will explain my ply. For your small biscuit that you put your Indomie, you usually use a carton of 3 plies. That is, when you separate them, there are 3 crowns. When you want to pack something that is bigger, like a machinery, you can use 5 plies. That is, when you separate them, the craft will be 5. You can even use 7 ply. You can use 9 ply, depending on the weight that you want and the cost. Like I said in the presentation, you are not selling the packaging, you are selling the product. So your packaging material must be adequate and must be cost effective.
All right, there's Mrs. Funke, Dr. Funke Bolujoko that has a question. Dr. Bolujoko, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ojo and Mrs. Ajelabi, for this beautiful lecture. I just want to ask, please, Dr. Ojo, could you kindly send us the recordings of the previous lectures, particularly this one, as well as that of documentation?
Yes, we will. We will do all that.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mrs. Ajelabi. Nice to see you after a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know who's speaking.
Funke Bolujoko, Funke Bogunjoko. You know me as Bogunjoko. God bless you.
Nice to see you. Nice to hear you, ma. My regards to my boss of bosses.
All right, that is some sweet reunion again on this program. Thank you, Mrs. Bolujoko. All right, because we are running very fast to the end of this because we're to finish by 1. The other questions in the Q&A box are things we could answer. But let me first thank Mrs. Kofo again, Mrs. Kofo Ajelabi, again for the time you have spent on this session. You've said a lot. You've given so much value, so much value. Packaging is a big deal. That's it. It's a big deal, and we all know this. And it's very important for us to understand that it's a professional field, and you have shown and displayed that even today. I'm sure a lot of the people here, they want to hold you down and say, man, I need to talk to this woman after this session. And let me just assure our participants that we will make available this contact at some point. Before I even move, I just want some good news though. PDF is working in collaboration with the Network of Practicing Non-Oil Exporters of Nigeria. We're working on setting up a mentorship program. So when we get to that mentorship program, you see our experts will be some of the mentors. And the whole idea is for hand-holding, actually. It's really to hand-hold our startup exporters that are still having issues. They have things they want to do in mind, but they don't know what's the step. Who's going to help me? So that hand-holding is what we have realized there is a gap between learning and practice of export. So PDF, in collaboration with MPNEN, will be launching an export mentorship program, and you'll all be informed at the time. It will be something that you have to apply for. We have to do a selection of mentees for that program so that we can match the mentees with the mentor for a period of 4 months thereabout. So please watch out for it. Watch out for it. And in that case, you'll be seeing some of these experts back again as mentors to some of us in that program. Please watch out for that. And you've also heard me talk about the Network of Practicing Non-Oil Exporters of Nigeria. We always advise and encourage everyone that's attended these programs to be part of that network. It is a subscribed network, it's subscription. Please join MPNEN. Register today. You are better for it because you'll be in a network of exporters. Within a network where you can have all the answers to your questions being answered for you to export and get practical experience. So we urge you to join MPNEN. That's a network of practicing non-oil exporters of Nigeria. And you can go to their website, mpnen.org. That is the website of MPNEN. And to register now, you can go to mpnen.org/register. You can do that today, even now, and just indicate your interest in joining MPNEN. Again, it's Network of Practicing Non-Oil Exporters of Nigeria, MPNEN. And the website is mpnen.org/register if you want to register. For those that have asked for the videos, this is our 4th and the last session in the capacity building series. All the videos are available on pdfnigeria.org website. pdfnigeria.org website. The past 3 videos, you'll find it there. And this also will be uploaded on the same website. And for you to find it easily, you can go to pdfnigeria.org/rc, because then we have it uploaded in the resource center of the website, pdfnigeria.org/rc. When you open that page, you can filter your search, and then it will ask you about what program phase. Under program phase, pick PDF Bridge. If you can click PDF Bridge and you click to filter, you will see all the videos that have come up under the PDF Bridge program there. Meanwhile, we are still also going to send you emails about all this information. But if you want to quickly access the videos we've had before now, go to pdfnigeria.org/rc, and under the program phase, select PDF Bridge. You will see at least 3 videos. 3 videos on market entry strategies, raising finance, and export documentation. Like I introduced this program earlier, it's been brought to you by the Trade Policy Workstream of the Policy Development Program, PDF Bridge, supported by the UK Aid. This has been brought to you by the Trade Policy Workstream of PDF Bridge. And many more programs will be coming up. There are dialogues lined up from next month, dialogues on EEG, services export. Please continue to follow us. Follow us on our social media handles at PDF Nigeria, and also at Non-Oil Export RNG. You'll be seeing notifications, and we'll also be notifying you via emails. All right, we have a poll that we want you to fill. Please, can we launch the poll? Can the host launch the poll? There's a poll we usually fill. And while you're at it, we will also continue some of these conversations. Can we please launch the poll? There's a poll that we launched, and the poll is for us to give feedback on this session. Please, can we have the poll, please? Nana Wanchuku, please, can you launch the poll? Mrs. Kofo, I remember
Yes.
that you said something about avoiding fake barcodes. Avoiding fake barcodes. And I was wondering, how do you know if a barcode is fake?
Oh, when you want to use it in the store, it won't do what it has to do. You know what? People will copy the lines. They just pick the products and they will ask their designer to scan it on their product. And it's not a genuine or a registered barcode. And to know it, when you use the scanner, that's what any scanner, if we have a scanner when we are developing, you get your scanner to be sure that your printer didn't mess you up. That easily when it get to where they are going to sell, the barcode will do what you have to do. The moment you scan and it cannot scan well, that's a fake barcode.
Oh, okay. So people, the poll has been launched. Can we please click and answer the questions on the screen while I still engage Mrs. Kofo? So please, can we just take part in this poll while I still engage our facilitator? And the question is still on the barcode, ma. So knowing that people can just create the barcode and be very funny about it. So does that mean that those that provide barcode services are certified to do so? And that means if you're looking for barcode, you must look for certified people that provide services.
Yes, you have to buy it from certified body. Right. Because barcode is not just that you have the lines that you just measure the lines out. They are registered bodies that must be, and they give, I think they give some authority to some people whereby you can, but you just don't pick up and say you want to put lines on, like product people do. If being an auditor, you see that some of these people that make products at the back door. There was a time we were looking for, when we got some products, that people that faked genuine products. They printed materials and put barcode that are fake. Wow. And how they have their printer to do, get a graphic designer just to put some barcode, and that's it. And we have it a lot in Nigeria. Right. That's the truth. Even their new product, they try to fake it.
Well, now that Nigeria will be 60 tomorrow, we have to have these conversations with ourselves. Integrity is very important. Integrity is very important. When we do business, we must do it right. Issues of faking things like this should be something that will be a forgone issue among us, hopefully. One more thing, please, the poll is launched and is on your screen. We only have 58% that voted so far. We still have about 42% of the members here to answer the questions of the poll. Please do so. Do so quickly. It just takes you about 5 seconds. It's not something that takes you forever. Mrs. Kofo, I also have one other question. You talked about the barcode in EAN 13 and EAN 8. Are their prices different? Or is it you get it at the same price? Or their
prices are different.
Okay.
But I think what we can do, when you have a lot of product to put that you are requesting for, sometimes they do what you call volume. And so they bridge the gap.
Okay. That's great. Those were my questions. I thought it was important for me to ask you because some other people may also benefit from it. We have 69% people that have voted. 69% of members here have voted. We need another 30 to join. Please, if you have not voted, do this quickly. It's just a matter of seconds. We need 100% of attendees to vote. Mrs. Kofo Ajelabi has been our trainer today, and I'm sure that you've all had a great time with her. She has over 40 years experience when it comes to this this sector of packaging. She has over 40 plus years of experience in product packaging, and having even worked with multinationals. She has led that very successfully in her career. And right now she's the founder and the CEO of Packaging Resources Limited. So to also let you know that we're in the right place. We're in the right place. So please let us do this voting. We have 74% voted. Let's do this. Mrs. Okolawan's hands are raised. Mrs. Okolawan,
Yes,
you have a question? Yes.
I have a yes. I did barcode for my product sometime, and when it was done, I found out that the code they used for me was US, showing that the products originated from the US. Till now, I have not used those barcodes because I just felt, I think that's fraudulent. What do you think about this, Mrs. Ajelabi?
What I will cancel is, barcode are not originated from Nigeria either. In those days when we started out, we were taking barcode from UK. But it doesn't mean that the products were made in the UK. Do you get me, ma'am? And there was a time that it will be, so what I will cancel is register with GS1. They are the master of the barcode. And given this issue, they'll be able to interpret it to you if you have one, to check with them. The scanner, when you say it is US, it is just telling you the source of that barcode. It doesn't mean that your product is manufactured from the US. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Not quite, because if, according to what you showed us on the screen, where you showed the country and all those things, all those numbers having what it means. If we see the code for Nigeria, we know, yes, this product is from Nigeria. I don't know. I felt a bit worried that we would be making products in Nigeria, and then what we have as the origin country of origin is US. That's just it.
Where do you live, ma?
I live at Ikeja, ma.
Lagos, yeah.
Yes.
Are you in Lagos?
Yes, ma. I'm in Lagos.
Very simple. Please just take a walk to Man House in Ikeja.
Yes, ma.
I think then ask for GS1. They'll be able to decode this barcode that you have. Because until giving an answer to something that I don't see, and if you have, I don't expect you to have except if you have a scanner, barcode scanner. Do you have a barcode scanner?
Yes, there are many softwares now that you can put on your phone that will scan a barcode. And actually we did it with somebody in Man House.
Okay.
Yes. We did that thing with somebody in Man House.
Okay. And so it's showing US and you don't want to use it because
no, I don't want to use it. I think it's a bit fraudulent because I want to try and, I want to export these products to the US, and then here I am coming from Nigeria. My barcode is reading
what
US.
I will cancel is buy another one from reputable GS barcode retailer, and the one I know very well is GS1 because I know they are reliable. I know they are very, very reliable, and those ones I think I've been using for past 28 or 30 years. Even when we couldn't even source in Nigeria, we were sourcing from the UK, and they just give us the number, and then we decode it out.
Thank you,
I agree with you. Don't use the one that is not reliable.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma.
Thank you, Mrs. Ajelabi. We have about 8 more people that are yet to vote in the polls. Please let's do that, and upon that we'll be closing this session. This is 1:06 p.m. I think we've done well with time today, and thanks for everyone that asked a question or two. Please if you have not voted, we just have about 8 people. That these numbers are saying 8 people yet to vote. If you haven't voted, please do so. Once again, the announcement I've made earlier, let me just repeat very quickly. If you want videos of these sessions, all 4, you find that on our pdfnigeria.org website. It's in the resource center, pdfnigeria.org/RC. If you look for the program PDF Bridge, if you click PDF Bridge and filter, you will see all those videos on that page. And of course, we'll still send you some messages subsequently. Also, I mentioned that PDF, in conjunction with the Network of Practicing Non-Exporters of Nigeria, will launch the Export Mentorship Program. So please stay tuned to that. They will be informing you as this program unfolds. So on this note, I want to say thank you to everyone that joined us. Thank you to our facilitator. Thank you to all participants that joined us today. This marks the end of our 4-part export capacity building series. And I want to believe that it's been worthwhile. We started with market entry strategies, and then we went on to export documentation. And then after that, we went on to raising finance for export. And today we've ended it with branding and packaging for export. Thank you everyone that joined us. I want to say thank you. And subsequent programs of PDF would definitely inform you. Please, I'm still seeing that 90% have only voted. We're going to leave this poll up. Make sure you do before you leave the room. There are about 6 people or so that are yet to vote. We need to get to 100%. Please, if this is showing on your screen and you have not voted, just click your answer. That's all you need. Click the yes, we're at 97. 3% more. We're doing well. Yes, 97 now. We have 1 more person that has not voted. That's what this is saying. 1 more person or 2 more people. Please make sure. Bravo. We're now at 100%. We now have 100% participated in this poll. Thank you, everybody. On this note, we're drawing the curtain on the PDF Bridge Export Capacity Building Series. We'll see you some other time. Please visit the website we have provided. The videos are there. And we were live on Facebook. So if you go on Facebook, the Policy Development Facility PDF, you find it on Facebook, search for it. Today's video is right there. And I even think other videos will probably still be there even now. Please go to those pages. Thank you very much and have a beautiful afternoon. Thank you, Mrs. Kofu-Ajelabi. We will keep coming back to you, trust me. All right, ma. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Well done, everyone. I've had a very nice time.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Bye. Bye. And we wish everyone a happy 60th Independence Anniversary.
Happy Independence Day.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Fantastic session. Well done, ma'am. I hope you have drank water, please.
No, give her coffee.
Yeah, she needs to drink. Okay, Dr. Lama says she should drink coffee. Cappuccino. Wow. Thank you.